Welcome to another episode of the Anime Cavalcade. Again, we're talking about summer 2020. What do you call it? We're talking about summer 2023 anime, doing all that shit, and whatnot. So, oh shit! I deleted my fucking notes, or at least I closed my fucking notes that I have for this stream. But luckily, thank God, we caught up on all the anime and all the backlog from last week or a few days ago. So we're not back. Well, no, we're like the only reason I'm behind schedule a bit in like any form of sort of like fuck ass way is because of I was supposed to do this Saturday and I meant to do it in the morning. I didn't. I went out to go party and that was a hassle. But we're here now. We're doing all seven because Artie came out with it. I found this out. I pronounced it now. It's not Artie because I thought it was A-R-T-I. It was actually A-T-R-I. So it's Atari. But Atari, My Dear Moment, came out. So now we're talking about all seven anime. So we're just gonna go through. We're gonna go through all of them, talk about them the way that I'd like to talk about them, and then we're gonna go ahead and do all that, do all that good shit, that real good. My Dear Moment came out with its first episode, and honestly, truthfully, I was okay. Ooh, I am skipping ahead. Already, My Dear Moment, honestly, is really good. First off, animation was beautiful. If you ever saw the trailer for it, it was obviously going to be like a really good anime, visually. Visually, it was going to be good. So I'm not surprised at all whatsoever about how it looks and anything like that. So I'm surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. I am not surprised in the slightest. This is better. Wait, we're done? Okay, this is not bad. But yeah, I am not surprised in the slightest whatsoever about how it looks. It looks really good. It looks really good. It's beautiful. The ocean. Oh, they make the ocean look so good. They make the water look so beautiful. The whole world is beautiful. The characters look really nice. Everything just looks nice. That's obvious, right? I am actually quite surprised how kind of like touched this show made me feel, and not and like I knew this anime was going to be like not okay. I don't know if I'd say this anime was going to be a hard watch. I don't know if I would go. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say, oh, this anime was gonna be. It was gonna be like, I knew it was gonna hurt me, but like, there's something about this episode that just made me feel so hard, so like emotional, connected to the story because you have the main character Natsuki, who I guess when the world itself, when the world was, how would I explain that? Jesus Lord, when the world was like normal, right? Like our world. But sea levels rise super fast to the point where it's actually started flooding like a lot of coastal cities. And Natsuki obviously was affected by that. As the episode opens up with Natsuki being trapped somewhere, which I assume was like his house or some space like that. But we know he has like some form of trauma, some form of like, not being okay. And we kind of get that, like, he does seem, I don't know, I wouldn't say stinted, but he does definitely come off as like emotionless in a sense and a bit more serious. Um, we see more people that he interacts with like his partner. Not when I mean his partner, not romantic partner. His like partner. I wouldn't say in crime, but like his business partner that he has. And then there's this girl. I forget both of their names. I'm not gonna lie. Didn't look it up, and there's not much information on them. So I did not look that up whatsoever. But they are really they like kind of work as a trio, I think it was, or I think it's just those two, and the girl that is Natsuki's classmate just kind of gets roped in because she's like, oh, you probably shouldn't do what you're doing right now, and it's just like, oh, you don't need to be safer, and I don't know if I'd say Natsuki comes off as, I know I said he comes off as emotionless, but it's more just like, I want to say I'm more serious because he does show that he has some emotion. He's not like a dead, cold, like kudere. He's just like he's just more of a straight fake guy than like just actual no emotions, I would probably say. And so, with all of that addition to it, Natsuki is definitely going to be a very tragic person in this story, in the sense that we're going to see him probably grow a lot in whatever he's going through. And that's going to help with the addition of Atari, who we find out is like a humanoid droid. And like if they go like into the water. Oh, this is another thing. We see, I love this so much. The art, again, just another note on the animation art. The whole sucking cities, because their whole business adventure is that they're going into like the deep water sea and they're looking for anything that they can salvage, anything that they can sell, but everything is like kind of intact. So it's like a weird kind of view of Atlantis a little bit, which is actually like kind of cool. I actually really like how that looks because it just everything's still intact in a sense, and everything is still like kind of there, but also like not really, right? Like it's there's obviously there's enough time that has passed where there's hella algae on stuff. Like things are obviously starting to degrade like pretty rapidly, but like everything's still intact. Everything like if the seawater levels were to go back down, it'll take a while, but you could still probably salvage a lot of what was destroyed in those waves. Like it would take a lot of rebuilding, a lot of restructuring, and you can even go off the fact that like the water's been there for so long now that it's just unsafe because of just erosion on like the sea, that what is now the seafloor. But it looks nice. It looks nice. It looks that would be a place where I'm like, damn, that I'm scared of water. Like I'm scared of the ocean in the way like the depths of the ocean. But if you were to find that, that would genuinely be beautiful. But they find Artie in like a capsule thing. And obviously, like I said, she's a humanoid, and so it's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, you're a humanoid. Okay, that's cool. What the fuck are you doing down here? And Natsuki gets freaked out because Archie just wakes up out of nowhere, crashes. We see a little bit more of his own panic attack and stuff like that. We see a little bit more of like his panic, and Archie just gets out of the pod and saves him, and helps crank him back up. And then saves him again when he tries to save Archie because Archie's just kind of like floating there. And then he goes in to save Archie. And it's the scene from the trailer where like he's floating, and it is like again, it is it's a very beautiful scene. But Archie goes and like I assume she kisses him, but I assume it was one of those things of, oh, I'm gonna kiss you because you're drowning, but we need to keep you alive. So type shit. Type beat. And so, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so they all kind of convene back after Archie gets pulled up and Natsuki gets saved twice technically by Archie. They all kind of conjugate back together and explain like, oh yeah, I also saying Archie. It's Atari. I keep fucking it up. It's Atari. Where it's just like, oh, my name's Atari. I'm here to help. Oh, not here to help. It's like, my name's Atari. I used to help with, I forget her name, but essentially it is Natsuki's grandmother because the place they find her at is Natsuki's grandmother's place. Because she was a really big scientist in, I think, marine biology, although I'm not 100% sure. I think it had something to do with the ocean in some way, shape, or form, which might be marine biology, but there might be something else. I don't know much about marine biology in the slightest. And so, like, it's all, like, that shit happening, right? The reason they scavenge is because they need money. And so his partner's like, oh, well, that's a humanoid robot. Those ones were, like, outdated, but we could probably fetch a pretty good penny for them. And through this entire thing, because they decide, like, the girl says you should probably wait until I come back to even think about selling her, but they just kind of go ahead and check the price. But through this whole sequence of, like, going over to the market, seeing how much she is, like, we could see that Natsuki, like I said, he's not a kudere. He still has, like, some semblance of emotion as he's going, and like they're going through the market. He's making sure that like Artie's okay. Like a significant moment to me was when Natsuki, his partner, and Atari were like walking through the market and they see shoes. Because the Atari doesn't have any shoes. She's just walking barefoot. So Natsuki goes to a shoe place. It's like, okay, you can get any of the shoes. And she's like, oh, these are like pretty optimal, but these are also optimal in like a cute type of sense. And it's like, dude, just pick one. And Natsuki picks like the cute ones, even though the optimal ones would probably be better for her. Which shows like, okay, like no, there's something here with him. I could see it. They go to check her. They go to check on her price, and she is worth a lot apparently. because the recall is that I guess her model, Atari's model, was recalled because I guess they made them too humanoid and they had some issues, which is shown off in the sense because Atari's like, hey, before you sell me, I had one more objective I need to do for your grandmother, and she told me I should do it before I do anything else. And they're like, okay, well, what's that objective? And she tries to remember, and she fucking can't. She's just like, oh, I actually do not remember what I was supposed to do. And it's like, great. You don't even remember what your goddamn objective was. That's awesome. That's great. You're great. That's awesome. That's awesome. And you suck. And so we get this scene where they're all walking back, and they're like, all right, we should probably, like, call it a day. And I think his partner is realizing, like, slowly that Natsuki might be attached. And I think his partner might even know, like, what is going on. Like what is going on. And being like, hey, Atari should probably stay at my house tonight, not your place. And it's just like, I don't want you running away with the robot, and I don't want you doing any dumb shit with the robot. It's like, we need the money. You need the leg. Also, I didn't bring that up at all. He has like a prosthetic leg, which I assume was an injury from when the rising tide happened and he got stuck. We also get a scene where he's trying to like push out of the rubble, and we see an arm that looks suspiciously similar to Atari's. So Atari might have already been knowing who Natsuki is, like, way beforehand. But obviously she can't remember much of who she is and what she was supposed to do. But it really got to me. And I think this is when shit started getting to me in the anime, because when all this started to happen, right? You see his partner and Atari start driving away, and I can't tell if he was just running to get the shoe, or if he was actually kind of like using the shoe to be like, hey, wait, like, don't leave, right? Because we're getting hints that, like, he has some emotional distress, because we see him in the submarine when he gets stuck, and he's, like, yelling to, like, pull him out, which is simulating when he got stuck when he was younger, and he's kind of doing the same thing he was here. It's not as strong as it was, right? It's not as strong as it was, but it's still strong enough to be noticeable, where he might have been trying to run to get back the shoe, but he was obviously running for something else, something a bit more emotional, something a bit more deeper, which Atari also catches as well, which when trying to acknowledge the partner, she just mistakes it for a car coming by, and so she dodges out of the way. And like, you even see him leave, like, he can't catch up to the motorcycle, so then you see him leave distraught, being like, oh, well, yeah, I'm not here. And we see he's even more distraught because his friend, his classmate, is waiting for him, and he seems like sad, and like he's also hurt because of, like, you know, he lost his leg during the water, and it's just not right, and it's all fucked up. And like, she wants to be there, but he's just like, I'm sorry, can you just leave me alone? Like, it's like I don't want to be an asshole, but I need you to leave me alone for a minute. And so like, he does, and he's like, I forget what he says, but I know he's like very somber about being alone. And then he has a nightmare reliving the tragedy, wakes up, and Atari is already there. Like, she left his partner's house all the way to go back to the boat, and like the last line that is said in the show is, I am willing to be, what was it? It's something like, I am willing to be your leg, or I'm willing to be your crutch, or something like that, or something like that, which honestly is super cute, and it's super wholesome, and it actually kind of got to me, almost to the way where it made, like, I didn't cry, but it made my eyes watery, because I know that this show is going to be an exploration of either Natsuki's, well, in general, it's going to be his trauma, but I think it's going to be tackling his trauma of, like, everything that compounded on the day that the sea level rises, which is, like, his loneliness that he's dealing with, and his trauma and being small spaces and being helpless. I think it's going to be surrounded about being helpless and being alone, and being like, oh yeah, I don't really like I have, it's like some people, but I don't really have people like that, which is like, okay, I see where you're coming from. It's like, you don't have people who you feel like, you know, makes you not feel really alone, and so Atari might be the thing with that helps him with that, which also could possibly lead into why what was his grandmother's last objective for Atari, which I assume it has to do something with Natsuki. It has to, like if we're going to take the scene in question, right? If we're going to take the scene in question, where Natsuki at a younger age was trying to push out and trying to get out, and we see a glimpse of Atari's arm, then it could be a situation where Atari's last objective from his grandmother was to protect Natsuki at all costs. So I could see that, and I think that'd be really cool. What the fuck? Why did the stream freeze? I see a freeze in the stream, and I don't know if that is me. Okay, that is YouTube. That is Switch. Hold on. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Oh, okay. Okay. The Twitch is working. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what happened, but the Twitch is working. The Twitch is working. All right. But yeah, overall, man, I was expecting this episode to hit me as hard as it did. I think it's one of those things where it pulls on some similar. It pulls on some similar strings of mine that like hit me personally as well. And I think that was a big thing for me where I'm just like, damn, that hit hard. That hit hard and that hit deep for me. So what I'm assuming might happen is that it might be like this episode after episode. If it does, man, I have cried at certain episodes and I have cried at ends of anime in like moments. I don't think I felt emotional going through an entire anime. And I will see if Atari can actually do that. If Atari can make me feel like that every single time it can, Atari might have it in the bag for me. Atari might be an anime that does some really good stuff, some really hard hitting stuff. I think it can do. Let's see. Oh yeah, I do want to at least say the world itself is actually like tragically beautiful. Like the world of Atari is tragically beautiful because you see all this like ocean and the water and stuff like that, but it's somber because it's more than somber. It's like terrifying because it's like, oh yeah, it could be because of climate change, but no one really knows. The sea levels just fucking rise, and so one of those things where you sit there, you're just like, oh my god, like that could be us, but that's genuinely so beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's so nice and good and lovely and weirdly peaceful, but like in a somber way where you feel like your world's like colliding around you and you don't know why. But it does look nice and beautiful. It does look nice and beautiful and good, and I appreciate that a lot. And it's great. Atari, the first episode was Atari is really good. I wasn't expecting it to go like as hard as it is, but Atari is unironically just like a genuinely good show. Or at least the episode was genuinely good. Alright, because it's the first episode, we don't know about the whole show. But Atari was a genuinely good episode. And it made me feel emotional, it made me feel things. It set up like the whole plot for the anime just really well without revealing like too much. It gave us enough emotional attachment for me to want to keep going. Because everything is still kind of up in the air and everything's still kind of whatever. And we're only on episode 1. But I think it did a really good job in hooking me because it's like, I want to see like where the story with the girl goes. I want to see where the story with the partner goes. Honestly, the least interesting thing about Atari was probably the romance option, which is like, okay, it's gonna come into conflict with something. I just know it, but it was kind of like, okay, whatever. I'm not hating on it. It's just kind of like like I get what you're doing, but it's like, okay, all right. But yeah, Atari episode 1, I would give it 10 out of 10. I'd give it 10 out of 10. Really good episode. Really good start. I really like it. It was really good.